All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. I'm your host, Eric, here with our cool wrestling factoids. Easy E, they call me. I'm just kidding, no. But yeah, so let's go ahead and reiterate what we talked about real quick. We talked about our WWE SmackDown review. We talked about our WWE NXT preview. So, let's go ahead and move forward with this Ultimate King of the Ring tournament because I'm super excited to talk about it. Hope you guys are ready with me. Absolutely going to be electric. Want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMC podcast.net. Tell me what you like. Tell me who you think is the best King of the Ring that has ever stepped foot in the squared circle. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on into it. Like I said, so we have our bracket one. We have bracket one. Let's go ahead and go on into it. First, we have Xavier Woods. Love Xavier Woods. Definitely think he was one of the best to ever do it in terms of the King of the Ring. Going to go ahead and write this down. We have King Woods. King Woods. He played it really well, honestly, and kind of like, going toward like an HBO kind of feel. Like I feel like he was able to kind of, introduce that CrossFit between WWE and, Game of Thrones, where he was throwing a lot of Game of Thrones references. He was talking like he was definitely one of the Lannisters or one of the Starks or one of the Targaryens, like, whatever, whichever house you root for. I'm House Stark personally, but I feel like he did a really good job doing that. And I love King Woods in this moment. So, bracket one starting off pretty hot. King Woods against Baron Corbin. King Woods against Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin recently has been doing better than he did when he was the King of the Ring. He obviously was King Corbin, who was pretty dominant. Oh man, it's going to be pretty hard. I think the overall better wrestler is probably Xavier Woods, but in terms of dominance and in terms of physical abuse, I feel like Baron Corbin easily wins this match. But you guys watch the King of the Ring matchups. It's not just about someone's strong suits. It can be, you can exploit those and you can turn them into weaknesses like Xavier Woods isn't strong enough to hang with Baron Corbin, yes. But is Baron Corbin strong enough to hang with the agile, the stamina, the endurance, and the speed of Xavier Woods? And honestly, I feel like out of this match, I'm not trying to hate on Baron Corbin and where he kind of comes from, but honestly, I kind of feel like I feel like I'm gonna pick King Woods. I think King Woods is gonna come out the victory here. I love Xavier Woods, the way he was able to do what he did when he was the King of the Ring. Love King Woods. Love the New Day. So my man deserves it. So good for him. All right, our next match we have Wade Barrett. We have Bad News Barrett. We have Wade, obviously the leader of the Nexus, feuded with John Cena, former Intercontinental Champion. I think he was the United States Champion. I think he was part of I think there was like the United Kingdom or something like that. But he was good. He was good. Obviously, he's an announcer now, but should be pretty interesting to see who he's going to fight against Sheamus. Wow, what a surprise! Talking about the United Kingdom, like, and then we have my man Sheamus here. Sheamus is still wrestling. He's still kicking. He's obviously been the WWE champion, world heavyweight, United States. Sheamus has kind of done it all here, and he's kind of trying to get back into it with the neck injury and stuff like that. So, man, this is kind of tough. It's kind of tough because we have Wade Barrett, we have Sheamus. Wade Barrett, Sheamus. Oh, man, who's going to win? Who's going to win? I think I'm going to pick Sheamus. Sheamus, the Celtic Warrior, is going to move on in this bracket. I love the way they've done with his character this whole time. He's good as a babyface. He's good as a heel. Honestly, he's versatile. He's definitely versatile, and that's what WWE loves him. Absolutely love that. Love Sheamus. Congratulations. We have William Regal. Power of the punch. Mr. Brass Knucks himself. Something that Logan Paul has definitely kind of emulated within his matchups. But William Regal was very impressive. Very impressive when he came into the WWE. He kind of fell off and he left WWE ultimately, like due to I think they're like with a little bit of substance abuse or just some kind of problems. But he ultimately came back and now he's working the WWE NXT. So definitely love William Regal. But then we have King Booker. Oh man, we have Booker. Oh man, not trying to hit on Regal here, but I think my mind has already been made up. Booker T will move on to the second round of the Ultimate King of the Ring match. And I'm not trying to hit him with William Regal, but you guys have to realize where Booker T came from. He came from WCW. In a time where WWE Invasion was happening in 2002, WCW superstars were being treated like shit, absolute garbage. And Booker T was the only one to kind of, he hung in there. He took all the BS. He took all the downpour from WWE superstars. Vince McMahon. Oh man, Booker T is definitely one of the best WWE superstars of all time. And two reasons why. Two reasons why. Because one, because he's just amazing. And two, he came from a company that had an X on their chest. Vince McMahon wanted to make a mockery of everybody that came from the WCW roster. And out came Booker T. Booker T, five-time WCW champion, world heavyweight champion. He's King of the Ring winner. Love Booker T. Deserves it all. Definitely going to be one of the favorites heading toward the finals. But yeah, let's go and finish off our bracket number one. Oh no, we have Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, the Beast incarnate. During his young years, he did very, very well. He was definitely one of the, I don't think it was necessary, kind of like a fan favorite, so to speak, but he was a monster. Definitely one of, definitely. And of course, you see him later in WWE years, where like when you hear that music hit, everyone's like, oh no. And everyone's like, okay, great. Someone's going to get their ass kicked right now. No, it's just like whenever Brock Lesnar is in any type of promo, any storyline, like he becomes the favorite. He becomes a favorite. Like the WWE has it's been speculated, it's been reported, so to speak, that The Rock will fight Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 41. Imagine they're going face to face and the Brock Lesnar's music hits. Automatically, you have to admit, you're like, oh shit, Brock's going to win the championship. Like, that's how much of an effect this man has. That's how much his presence, his physicality, his tactical wrestling inside the ring. He works submissions. He's a powerhouse. He's the Swiss Army knife of WWE. So it's going to be interesting to see who he's going up against. And it is, oh God. Oh God. This is the worst. Oh God, Edge. We have Brock Lesnar against Edge to determine who's the best King of the Ring winner. Bracket one. Edge is he's so successful. Coming from the WWE tag team, definitely one of the best tag teams to put the division on the map with the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, WrestleMania 2000 and that ladder match, tables, ladders, and chairs. It was just so awesome. Legend. He's already a Hall of Famer. Oh, God. This is so hard. He's King of the Ring. Man, the rated R superstar making it hard right now. Making it hard. Adam Copeland, he's killing it in AEW too, showing that when talent leaves, talent ultimately racks up the gold. And so far, he's the TNT champion. Oh God, why does this have to be so hard? I'm gonna take a minute, guys. I might take I might take an unorthodox break here. This is pretty hard. This is pretty hard to determine the winner between Edge, the winner between Brock Lesnar, because focus other than focusing on the positive parts. Brock Lesnar, love him to death, but he was a part-time champion. He wasn't competing every week. He wasn't really cutting. He cut good promos, but of course, because he had Paul Heyman. He had Paul Heyman to cut his promos for him. Edge, he came out, rated R superstar. He did it all himself. He got people behind him. He got people to hate him. Oh, God, it's who? And then once again, I'm thinking like, okay, who had the most success after the King of the Ring championship win? You saw Edge propel himself in the singles competitor. Like, it took a little while for Edge to do it, and Brock Lesnar has always been so dominant. He's always been so, dominant. Oh God, it's gonna be hard. And I know people might hate me, but I'm gonna stick with the winner is going to be. I'm picking Edge. I'm picking Edge, and it's just all around wrestling, all around career wise. Edge really, he was that kind of that transition. He was that transition that when you needed a champion, when you needed a heel, he was always there. He was always there to play into the storyline, story plots, or whatever. And Vince McMahon could always count on Edge. So I love Edge. Edge beats the Beast Incarnate, the reigning, defending, old, undisputed champion, Brock Lesnar. So, hey, bravo to Edge. Love Edge. Definitely thinks he deserves it. Pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. And yeah, so that was our bracket one of the Ultimate King of the Ring. Don't go anywhere because next we have our bracket two of the Ultimate King of the Ring. We're going to talk about this time, we're kind of going a little old school here. So, yeah, hey, don't go anywhere. All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just kind of reflect on what we talked about. We talked about our WWE Monday Night Raw review. We talked about our WWE NXT preview. We also talked about our bracket one of the Ultimate King of the Ring. I'm trying to find out who in the history of King of the Ring winners ultimately deserves to wear the crown as the Ultimate King of the Ring. So yeah, let's go and move on to our, we got our bracket two lined up. Obviously, it was a really hard match, but Edge was able to, kind of fend off the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. So yeah, let's go and jump on into our next one. So yeah, starting out. Oh, we have the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. We have Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle has had an amazing career. He's been absolutely awesome, dominant. One of those superstars that you can kind of, you build the company around. And that's what Vince McMahon did. You saw him feuding with Triple H, Chris Jericho, The Rock, Kurt Angle. I think he was even with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He came out and he hosed everybody with milk. Kurt Angle was definitely, even though his accolades might not line up to, how much he was actually worth. This guy's an Olympic gold medalist. He's one of the best wrestlers in terms of just kicking ass. This guy, whenever this guy stepped into the ring, you paid attention because this guy ultimately carried his opponents. Even though WWE's, scripted and stuff like that, choreographed. Kurt Angle was definitely one, like, he kind of reminded me of Bret Hart. The excellence of execution, protecting his opponents because he knew what it felt like. He wrestled with a broken freaking neck. The three eyes, intelligence, integrity, and intensity. That was Kurt Angle. That was absolutely what he was all about. Who's he gonna fight? Who's he against? Okay, Billy Gunn. Not too hard, and I'm not trying to dog on Billy Gunn here, daddy ass of AEW. But I'm sorry, Billy Gunn. WWE Tag Team Championships do not hold enough accolades, do not hold enough prestigious value to go against Kurt Angle. So the winner of this match is going to be Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle moving on to round two. Awesome. Definitely awesome. Of course, if you guys disagree, hit up the tips or donations link in the GSMCpodcast.net and we can talk about it. So, yeah. All right, we have our next match. We have Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock definitely kind of, opening up the gates from, MMA to kind of head into WWF now WWE. So, I love Ken Shamrock, his intensity. Always a good guy, always a good promo. He was a great promoter. His storylines were dynamite. And I think that was kind of like the UFC, kind of being a badge of honor, hidden in his back pocket. There's like, you know what? I might not be the best technical wrestler. I might not get this whole choreo, thing that WWE does, but I can bet your ass that I can have those butts in the seats. I can have people on the edge of your seats thinking that I'm literally going to go out there and I'm going to kill this guy. That's something that Ken Shamrock did really, really well. I grew up watching him. Love Ken Shamrock. Absolutely, he was a dog, man. He had that dog in him. Oh God, why did it have to be this guy? Oh, I did all this to talk up Ken Shamrock, Paul Levesque, Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Oh my God, he won the King of the Ring, and basically all his history, all his history after that. Multiple time WWE champion, multiple time World Heavyweight champion, won the tag team titles, Intercontinental champion. This guy is just, he has success written all over him. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's because he married Stephanie. Dude, that's bullspit. That's not true. This guy was a good wrestler. This wasn't Triple H has paid his dues way before he got with Stephanie. Like, I'm not sure it helped a little bit. I'm just kidding. No, but I feel like his capabilities inside of the ring, the way he was able to kind of help wrestlers kind of achieve more than they, went out there to kind of set for because, usually you get the nod and you're like, hey, guess what? You're gonna go out there and you're gonna lose to Triple H in a match. That's what's happening behind the curtain. And Triple H is like, you know what? What can I do for you? You're gonna lose, but what can I do for you? Let's make you look good. Let's make you look good in front of Vince. Let's make you look good in front of WWE creative or officials, just so maybe you can get a future push. And that's something that Triple H did. So definitely something admirable about Triple H that a lot of you guys probably did not know. Obviously, the winner between the most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, is right now Triple H. Triple H is going to move on to the second round. Super hard decision, but kind of have to, had to go with the facts on this one. All right, next we have Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Texas Rattlesnake, Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin is definitely one of the best heel wrestlers of all time. He had his feud with Vince McMahon, but it was to the point where like you kind of had that heel shift into something that became a baby face. Because at first you're like, who the hell is this guy? Why the f is this guy? Throwing beer cans at Vince McMahon? Who does he think he is? And then Stone Cold Steve Austin, the way he is, his personality, the way he's so like vocal on the mic, you just couldn't help but to fall in love with the Texas Rattlesnake. So it's gonna be hard to beat this guy. Who's going to beat him? Oh, Mabel. My boy Mabel, Viscera, the world's largest love machine, Viscera, Big Daddy V. Rest in peace, love Mabel. But guys, come on, let's be real here. Let's be real. The winner of this match is, I don't even have to really go far into it. Mabel had a little bit of accomplishments, but, I know Big Daddy V won the, ECW World Championship before his untimely, passing. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Mabel's definitely a huge WWE legend. But honestly, the winner of this match is going to be Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin moves on to the second round, defeating Mabel for the Ultimate King of the Ring. And to kind of end bracket two here, we're kind of running short of time here. We have Owen Hart. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Owen Hart, my man. Definitely one of the best technical wrestlers that ever lived. Of course, he beat his brother, but he was always kind of, he kind of fell short to Brett's accomplishments. Brett obviously accomplished a little more than Owen Hart did. But love Owen Hart. Like, once again, he went too soon. Absolutely, he passed too soon. My thoughts and prayers with his family. Hope everything's well and stuff like that. Just know that your dad was a badass. Definitely left his mark. Definitely cemented his legacy in terms of WWE. So who's his opponent? Oh my god, that's so weird. I didn't even mean to do this. I should have put Owen Hart against Mabel so we can at least make it. No, no, you don't want that pity second round pat. I'm just kidding. No, no. We have Bret Hart. Bret Hart, probably the best technical wrestler in terms of the WWE. I think he still holds the most wins in WWF/WWE history. A way to fight fire with fire. Owen Hart against his brother. Oh, these guys have had hellacious battles inside the ring. And to be honest, I'm happy I witnessed one of those live, but not live. Like I wasn't there. I watched it on pay per view. Um, but oh man, this is Bret Hart. Love Bret Hart. Love Owen Hart. But oh god, it's a hard decision. Love Bret Hart. Sharpshooter, submission magician. Oh god, I just feel so bad doing this, but guys, come on, I'm gonna have to say Bret Hart's gonna win this one. I love Bret Hart, I love Owen Hart too, but ultimately, you can't always get what you want. I'm just kidding, no, but no. So Bret Hart is definitely one of the best WWE superstars of all time. So that was the end of my bracket number two. Looking forward to round two. Don't miss it. We have our Ultimate King of the Ring that we will crown before WWE Saudi Arabia. So so we in our next round we have King Woods. King Woods against Sheamus. And we have Booker T against Edge. We have Kurt Angle against Triple H. It's kind of funny how they ended up fighting each other after the whole Stephanie McMahon thing. Kurt Angle made out with his wife. So I think Kurt Angle, no matter what happens between this matchup, he gets the win. I'm just kidding. No. Stone Cold Steve Austin against Bret Hart. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be absolutely dope to talk about in our next podcast. So make sure you stay tuned for the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast every night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. in Eastern Time. Just kind of hit on, real quick. We are quickly running out of time. I'm so sorry. We have our Tuesdays today in wrestling history. So, hey, don't go anywhere. All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric, here. Just to kind of reiterate what we talked about. First segment, we talked about our WWE Monday Night Raw review. We talked about WWE NXT preview. And the segment 3 and 4, we talked about we're trying to crown the ultimate King of the Ring winner in terms of historical facts, in terms of how their career ended up, and just, how great they were in terms of cementing their legacy in terms of WWE. So yeah, all right. And to kind of finish off the show here, segment 5, we're going to go ahead and talk about our Tuesdays today in wrestling history. So yeah, let's go ahead and dig on into it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we're going to start off with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Today in WWE, history, in 2021, on a live edition of WWE SmackDown in the Thunderdome in Tampa Bay, Florida. A new women's tag team champions were crowned as Natalya and Tamina defeated Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Kind of crazy. I love this photo because both of these champions were absolutely dominant, but they couldn't do what it took to hold on to the championship. So if you're looking at this photo right now and you're like, hey man, did this guy get this wrong? Did this guy read it the other way around that Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler won on this match? You betcha. I'm just kidding. No, definitely kind of crazy how this kind of winded up. But my bad. I kind of read it wrong, you know what I mean? But so yeah, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler lose it to Natalya and Tamina. Too bad, so sad. Can't wait to put a picture of them up on on this. We'll give them a tribute next week. All right, guys. So don't get off my ass. Uh, I had finals today. How dare you? You know what? I'm going and I'm taking my licorice. I'm taking my WWE championship home. I'm just kidding. No. Just okay. So in 1998, ECW presented at an event titled "Ain't Seinfeld" from the Elks Lodge in Queens, New York. So Taz ultimately came in introducing the FTW Championship, stating that it's like a self-proclaimed championship, which is crazy because his son held this championship for such a long time in AEW until he was dethroned in AEW Dynasty against Chris Jericho. Kind of holds a little more, kind of a little more prestige to that. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, Taz came out proclaiming himself as the FTW champion. So, yeah, honestly, hey, good for Taz. Like, screw it. Like, why not? So today in WWE in wrestling history, we had at ECW Hardcore Heaven from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Just Incredible retained the ECW World Heavyweight Championship against former Impact player partner Lance Storm in the main event. This was Storm's last ECW match before he left the ECW. Rhino also retained his ECW World TV Championship against the Sandman. And we also had Jerry Lynn pinned Rob Van Dam Kid Cash, defeating CW Anderson. Yashiruri Tajiri beat Steve Carino, and just it was a good match. It was a good pay-per-view. Loved DCW. Well, for what I've gotten to taste. I remember my family had a subscription to magazines, and we would get Raw, SmackDown, and EC. No. I don't think the brand split was happening at that time. So I think we would get one WWF, and I think we'd get oh man, what's that wrestling magazine? It's gonna bother me all night. I'll figure it out and I'll let you guys know. But ultimately, it was a good match. ECW was at this point kind of on its last limb. Kind of, in 2000, you kind of knew that it was, times were kind of ending. Paul Heyman ultimately said in an interview that although ECW went under, you can bet your ass that um, or what did he say? You can suck my just no, but he's pretty strong about how ECW was. Love that about Paul Heyman. Love that he didn't let down his guys. Still to this day, he thinks ECW is the best wrestling promotion in the professional wrestling industry. So good for Paul Heyman. Good for Paul Heyman. Next we have in 2005 in the main event of Ring of Honor, Nowhere to Run. From Chicago, Illinois, we had CM Punk defeating Jimmy Rave to end their feud in a steel cage match. Also, Austin Aries retained the Ring of Honor World Championship against Bryan Danielson. Sydal defeated Ace Steel. Matt Striker and the masked Green Bay Superstar defeated Colt Cabana. Homicide picked up a victory against Doug Williams. And it was actually, we had Roderick Strong and Jack Evans beat Alex Shelley and Delirious in a tag team match. So that was pretty 2005. That's crazy. Like you hear all these WWE stars from WWE NXT. Now they're kind of moving toward like more of an AEW kind of sector. You know what I mean? Like so, I don't know. That makes you think. Honestly, that definitely makes me think that you hear all these names and you're like, you know what? These are guys that weren't afraid to kind of go to AEW. They weren't afraid to go to Ring of Honor. They weren't afraid to go to New Japan Professional Wrestling. And it just makes you think that WWE has nothing but homegrown stars. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying that's bad. I think it's a good thing ultimately for their success. But I don't know. You kind of notice that right now. I think that's, kind of crazy how, you're not afraid to kind of dip into something that's ambiguous because you kind of been in that industry before, like CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Rhino. You saw Roderick Strong. These guys weren't afraid to go to AEW once when WWE was kind of turning to crap with Vince McMahon kind of on the helm there. And lastly, Christian Cage retained the WNBA world WNBA the NWA World Heavyweight title against the Monster Abyss in a steel cage match in a full metal mayhem match in the main event at TNA Sacrifice in Orlando. So once again, this was kind of like when Christian Cage left the WWE, left the WWF, seeking more like as a singles competitor. They were pushing Edge at the moment, so I think Edge's contract was renewed. Christian's wasn't. So he came out with the TNA, made a name for himself, and he did really, really good. So definitely proud of Christian. Definitely love the way that kind of all ended up. You honestly can't help but to respect. Sometimes, although some of these wrestling superstars take a break from WWE, or they try to find success elsewhere. Like right now, you kind of have Christian Cage against Swerve Strickland in this match at Double or Nothing. And it's going to be a great match. It's going to be a great match. These superstars have been all over the world. Definitely love it. Honestly, if they're still on WWE, they're probably still getting those bad bookings, those shit talkie mushroom matches that you're kind of looking at and you're like, these guys kind of deserve better. So ultimately, sometimes you got to pick up your balls and leave, man. I'm sorry. It's for the best, absolutely for the best. You're kind of doing some really great things here in terms of AEW. So happy for Christian Cage. Loved him with Edge and Christian, but ultimately sometimes things don't just pan out. Guys, hope you guys really honestly liked my show. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show and leave a positive review here at the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast and the GSMC Sports Network. We love peace, love, and positivity all the way, and it really does make a difference, guys. It really does make a difference. We need you guys, our audience. You're part of our family too. You guys are absolutely killing it. I love seeing the numbers on YouTube. I love seeing the numbers on our multiple, audio streaming server. Like, thank you guys so much. From the bottom of my heart, from the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, I want to thank you guys. Absolutely. Hope you're having a good midweek. Definitely. We also invite you guys to follow us on Facebook, Twitter/X, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. And like I said before, if I haven't made you a wrestling fan by now, we have NBA heating up with Nelson. Football's always hot with Kenneth. I have breaking news that Tom Brady is going to return to the New England Patriots and play for a season in the next upcoming NFL season. I'm just kidding. But those are the headlines you can hear. Those are the headlines you can hear on Kenneth's podcast. So make sure you tune into that football podcast. Get all the cool factoids. Be up to date with all your football stuff. We have Hoops and Heels, all things your one-stop shop for women's sports with Samantha. We have the Andrew Tate Show. We also have sports with Jeremy. We also have TJ. We have Manny. It just goes on and on and on, guys. Like, be a part of our GSMC Sports bloodline, and we can absolutely kill it together. So, gotta bid you adieu. I gotta bid you adieu. But stay tuned. Watch me tomorrow. I'll be on the same time, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to stay up, if you know, you just gotta, just got done hanging out with some bros, and it's 11 o'clock, and you're like, oh man, I'm looking for something to watch while I'm trouncing this Del Taco or McDonald's, just gonna, no, and you'd be like, turn on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. Who knows? I might make you the best wrestling fan in the world. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding, because I'm that damn good. I'm the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Bret Hart. If you guys didn't understand that reference, y'all should get out of here. I'm just kidding. No. So thank you once again for tuning into my show. And hey, have a phenomenal night. Sleep well.